One Piece chapter 1109, it is titled Interception. We are continuing with the Egghead arc. In the last chapter, we saw Luffy, he had Kizaru and Saturn in his grasp, and it looks like he is going to fight them. And then Vegapunk, he is going to announce the truth to the world. Honestly, I thought that chapter was insane, but this one was even better. We got to continue seeing Luffy versus Kizaru and Saturn. Sanji, he is headed to take Vegapunk to safety, and the different people of the world, they are trying to prepare to see what Vegapunk is going to reveal. And then there was something shocking that happened at the end of this chapter. Really good stuff, and we do have a break next week, which is unfortunate, but that just means I can make more One Piece content that's not related to chapter reviews and breakdowns. But if you guys enjoy regular breakdowns like these, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. That my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's get into chapter 1109's breakdown. I do want to talk about the cover page. This is cover story 26, and it's about a submerged Onigashima. The last time that we saw Onigashima was after Momo moved it and placed it on the ground right outside the flower capital. However, now it's moved down to Old Wano, so I want to know who moved it. And is this cover story, is it going to be about the citizens of Wano? Is it going to be about the remains of the beast and the Big Mom pirates? I'm not sure, but I'm really excited for it. Vegapunk, in his recording, it's not only him, but it is him because it's his Stellas. It's a little bit weird. We see Shaka and other Stellas later in the chapter. I do want to mention, back in chapter 1108, there was a machine that appeared to be monitoring Vegapunk's pulse, and that machine is called an electrocardiogram, I believe. And in this chapter, you do see Vegapunk still had a pulse. Compared to this chapter, it's a straight line, meaning that he flatlined. Now, that does not mean that Vegapunk is dead, as whenever people flatline, there is a chance that they can be brought back to life with a defibrillator, but he is on death's door. During the recording, Vegapunk, he is discussing with his Stellas the best way to broadcast this message, since the world government, they're going to try and intercept or censor the message. So they decide to broadcast it through every naval base in the world, and because they need enough time to set up their visual transponder snails, Vegapunk, he gives them 10 minutes to get set up. This is for two reasons. Number one, it's for the plot to give a sense of urgency, and at the same time to tease the readers on what the truth is. Something similar happened recently in Wano. It was said that Onigashima was going to land and crash into the flower capital 5 minutes, which was, I believe, chapter 1028, and it took Luffy 21 chapters after that announcement to actually beat Kaido, which is anime time. But in actuality, he was able to defeat Kaido within those 5 minutes. And I also just recently, if you guys want another example, I saw a clip from Dragon Ball Superhero of Trunks, how he was able to defeat Mecha Frieza. We know that it took, like, I believe it was either the entirety of one episode or it was a couple episodes, but in that clip it was only a few seconds. It just puts into perspective how fast these characters can actually move. But the second reason is because a message of this magnitude being suddenly broadcasted like this, people, they're going to need time in order to be prepared and actually set up properly. So I think that this was a nice detail that Oda added. Saturn, he is using telepathy in order to communicate with the other Gorosei because they are confused as to why this transmission is happening. Saturn, he does confirm that Kizaru did kill Vegapunk, and this leads the Gorosei to the conclusion that Vegapunk, he set up this broadcast to go off in the chance of him being killed. The Gorosei come to the conclusion that this transmission is happening in the Labostratum, and this is where Zoro and Lucci are fighting, and this may be important based off of what was revealed towards the end of the chapter. Different countries, they are preparing their transponder snails for what's going on. There's Dressrosa, there's Fuchsia Village, there's Water 7, and a lot more, and I love seeing these reactions. Rebecca and Kuros, they were training in the Tontatas. They were talking about Luffy kidnapping Vegapunk. We know how easily influenced they are. I love the added detail of Water 7 receiving this announcement in the middle of the night / early morning, because it makes sense with how time zones work, and I don't think a lot of viewers, including myself, actually pay attention to details like that. I do want to mention Iceberg does have a new secretary, and this person, they replaced Khalifa's position. Her name is Alicia, and that's what it said according to the scans, but it's actually written as Alice. so let me know which one's the correct pronunciation. We saw her addition in chapter 487, and then we saw her officially become the secretary in chapter 655, known as the 10-year-old genius secretary. Morgans and Vivi, they're reacting to this as well. There's also the different C's, North, South, West. The revolutionaries, they make mention. Ivankov talks about Vegapunk losing his head, implying that he met Vegapunk before he turned his brain into the Punk Records. And then the other revolutionary members, they're reacting to him because they never seen him before. The fighting on Egghead, it continues, in both Saturn and Kizaru, they are attacking Luffy. Kizaru, he does shoot lasers from his eyes, makes sense because of his devil fruit, and this isn't the first time that we've seen attacks like this. We saw it with Sanji, his brother Ichiji, and we also saw it with Queen, who stole his technique. But I just love it seeing this type of attack. I think it's very unique and something that we don't really see that often in the series. I don't know about you guys, but I love seeing Luffy whenever he does something straight out of a cartoon, because he hits Saturn and Kizaru with a dawn symbol, and this is something that is straight out of one of my favorite cartoons, Tom and Jerry. Then he ends up spinning the two on his fingers like they're pizza dough, and he sends both of them flying. Now Kizaru, he got sent flying into a warship, and he is still down catching his breath. However, Saturn, he's back up, and it appeared he turned into something like, I guess you could say, it looked like he was a boomerang, and then he goes and attacks Luffy. There is no time. The other Gorosei, they claim that they have to prevent Vegapunk from speaking freely, and Saturn, he performs a summoning jutsu, and we see 4 circles similar to when Saturn appeared, meaning the other 4 Gorosei, they're coming to the island, and it's not just that, we are going to see them in their devil fruit form. A while ago, I made a video where I talked about the tension of this arc. It kind of went away a little bit, and I thought that Egghead had shifted a little bit too much in the Straw Hats' favor, with the Giant showing up with the Pacifisto on their side. The Seraphim, they are in the bubble prison. I was a little bit confused and wondered why Oda did this. Well, now with the Gorosei showing up, it makes sense, because those brothers, they are strong, they are powerful, and a lot of people fear them, as they should. Now, we don't know exactly if they're equal in terms of strength or if there's a clear-cut strongest amongst them, but I do want to mention I did see a theory where people talked about the Gorosei, their strength is based off of either how closest they are to the earth or how whoever the closest is to the sun. Both is possible, and I do like that theory. Gear 5th Luffy, he appears to be struggling a little bit to put Saturn down. He even mentioned that, so all those punches meant nothing to you, huh? And to be fair, Luffy, he doesn't appear to be using advanced Conqueror's attacks, but still, Gear 5th Luffy, who's a Yonko, he's having a tough time. If Saturn, if he's a handful, if he's keeping a Gear 5th Luffy occupied, then what's going to happen when the 4 other Gorosei appear? And Kizaru, he's still not out the fight, because with the Straw Hats here, there are only 4 that I can confidently say are on, not necessarily on the level, and I don't even think that they could defeat them, but I do think that they could hold their own and wait for somebody else or some form of reinforcements to show up, and that would be Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei. And while I said all that, but at the same time, now this very well could just have been a bad matchup for Sanji, but he didn't do too hot against Saturn. So the Straw Hats, they are going to need some extra help. Now, whether this is going to be members of the Grand Fleet, I've seen a lot of people talk about Dragon because of his connections to Vegapunk, and that this is an opportune time for the revolutionaries to strike. It could also be Shanks. It also could be the giant robot from the Ancient Kingdom. I guess we'll have to see whenever we see the new chapter after the break. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you guys felt about this chapter in the comment section below. I loved it. This is one of the first times I didn't get spoiled for a single thing in the chapter, and I thought the reveal of the Gorosei pulling up, that was something I definitely wasn't expecting. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. And don't forget to unleash your potential.